Good to meet you, ma'am.
How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Hi. First New York Comic Con for me.
Wow. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. Usually just a San Diego one.
I know, and I have to laugh that I asked you a long time ago about the COVID hair, and you were like, no, it's not going to stay.
Well, unfortunately, as I established myself as a character, and then I can't cut it. So
I love it.
she's also.
Right?
I may not have a say in this.
I like it.
I'm loving Big Sky too.
Thank you.
Jensen, just
Yes.
when you thought you were done with Dean Winchester.
They pull you back in.
Yeah, well, like The Godfather 3.
Yep.
He's never done. You're never going to be done with.
I'll never be done with Dean.
Winchester.
Dean will never be done with me.
Yeah.
How did the show come about, and did you ever imagine the legacy of Supernatural, it lasting 15 years, and now we're doing spin-offs?
I mean, look, I didn't think we'd last more than 3 seasons, and I was excited with the success of that, because you get anything more than 3 seasons of a show, and that's a runaway success.
3 networks.
Yeah, what's that?
Are we 3 networks or 2?
What?
WB, UPN,
Supernatural.
CW.
It was like 3 networks. It was on 3
Well, it was it predated the network that it ended on. That's for sure.
changes.
So the fact that we got to 15, nobody could have predicted that. Never in a million years. And still very, very proud of every episode that we did. Very proud of every season we completed, and proud of every story we told. Sure, there were some that may not have hit as hard as some of the other storylines, but proud nonetheless. And then I think all of us that were really ingrained into this show and into this world, we're always looking for a way to maybe expand it. We had Bloodlines as an opportunity that for whatever reason didn't go. We had Wayward Sisters, which I thought we've talked about.
I loved it.
I thought that really should have gotten a shot. Unfortunately, it did not. And that was kind of what started this. When she and I were talking about, the end is near, because we went on
the end of season 15.
the end of season 15 was near. We went on COVID break. We didn't know when we were going to be coming back. We were talking a lot about Supernatural and what it's going to mean when this season ends, and where that would leave us, and it brought up, how could we expand that world? What would that look like? And it just kept pointing back to there's got to be a Winchester involved. At least that's what we thought. We were like, I feel like it's got to have a Winchester, because then we talked about what if Castiel maybe went off, or Jack.
I still think it's a good idea.
Like the Garrison of Angels,
Yeah.
Castiel's Garrison of Angels.
Who doesn't want more Misha?
I think Misha would be like, no, I can't do that. It's too much.
The voice.
Yeah. So we started talking about, early how Mom met Dad, and what that we've got waypoints that were laid out on the mothership about what that looked. Let's maybe find a way to fill in those blanks in a way that is unsuspecting, and enter Robbie Thompson. And that's kind of how it happened. And then we were so excited at the possibility of, wait a second, could this work? Could this be the ticket? Could this be the expansion we were all kind of looking for and hoping for? And I hope it is.
One more question.
Yeah, we do.
Danneel, you have a little bit experience with Supernatural, so you have a little bit of a fresher perspective. So what did you bring to this with your fresher perspective? What DNA is
I think
70s.
The 70s. No, it actually did exist there. That is canon.
Yes.
I do know that.
No, but I'm saying you were like, well, let's go back to the 70s. Let's tell that story.
About it. I do love that period in time, and I also think it's there's a lot of things that are happening now that are very similar. So I think it's interesting to watch those parallels. But for me, I kept driving home the love story of this. Because that's one thing I've heard him say over and over again, that Supernatural is not loved because it's a show about monsters. It's a show about brothers.
It was the love story of two brothers, to be honest.
Yeah,
it really was. It was the love that they
romance
fought for.
This to us seemed like we're following another love story, and not just John and Mary.
This is a romance instead of a bromance, right? Yeah.
But I mean, But there's other characters, and when you see the gang together, you also see that love between Carlos and Latika and Mary and all those other relationships, which reminded us a lot of Supernatural, because you brought in Castiel and like the love that was created there and all these different parts. So I think we have a lot of those similarities.
Yeah, it's a team that's not only fighting the good fight, but also fighting for each other.
Right.
And I think that was really important. And she kept keeping that North Star
I kept
north.
I was like, but it's
Gotta
about
be a
the
love
love.
story.
It's just got to be, because they would get excited about the other things, and I'm like, yeah, but it's about the love. Remember?
All right, one more.
Follows right on that. So
Okay.
yes, I totally agree with you. The reason Supernatural was so incredible was because it was a love story. What's different between that, which was a platonic love story, which is so hard to find and so unique, and this, which is a more traditional romantic love story? How different was that when you were conceptualizing it?
Well, I mean, obviously we know what happens. We know where they end up. So we know that the romance worked. But it is the getting there that we really wanted to mess with. And that's where Robbie came in and said, well, it should be not necessarily a forbidden love, but it should be a love that is fought against. It should be something that is, I can't do this because it means that I'm going to have to do this. I can't bring you in. I can't get too close to you. I can't. So it's that friction, that resistance, but still ultimately can't help but wanting to fight for each other, and wanting to fight for one another, and wanting to fight for that love. And I think that resistance and that struggle really gives us great story and gives us great character drive and motivation, not only individually but also as a unit.
And the sacrifices that people do for that kind of love. You
Right.
know, I mean, you do in all love, but the kind of sacrifices you will make for your children, and I mean,
It's a different kind. It's a
people
different
that
kind of
are
sacrifice.
parents out there, or even if you have a dog, because Jensen would have laid down his life for our dog, just the same. So anybody that's a parent knows that is so powerful. So
That unconditional love,
yes.
yeah.
So that is something I think that we need to explore.
That's a pretty good parallel. That was
Yeah.
a great answer.